I'm so excited because today I get to work with Michelle and her half-moon conure, Willis, who all she really wants is this bird to get along with her 3- and 5-year-old grandchildren. Like most of our consultations, we started by just diving in and seeing, all right, what's the diet and sleep? In other words, what are the foundations? And as you probably know from watching this channel, if the foundations are off, it's really difficult to make progress, but we persevered anyway. Take 5 things and do them as perfectly as you can, and then that tells me a lot usually. So what do you need to do to be set up for success? Is your T-stand ready? Where are you going to train? Also, these are your training sessions, so just as you said, if there's another bird out, that's not going to go well. Make sure that you feel like you have the ability to say, hey Dave, back up, you're too close, move over here, can we move these people back? I want to make sure that you guys are set up for success and that I open the floor up for you to feel like you do have that voice. And then as we see things, we'll start kind of manipulating what we can to get the behavior that you want out of your birds. When we talk about setting your birds up for success, we want to make sure that the training session is totally ready for you to make a win with a measurable result that you're trying to achieve, whether it's step up for your grandkids or target training, or maybe just a flight in her case. Now, the first problem that we saw, which happens a lot, is forgetting that step up is a trick. So since what she wants is for this bird to step up for other people willingly, I want her to make sure she's paying the bird for doing the behavior that we want to see more of. And unfortunately, she actually asked for 3 behaviors before paying the bird with a pine nut. The reason this can be a challenge is if you're using, in this case, what's called FR3, it can build frustration. And although there can be a time and a place for that advanced technique to be done on purpose, the challenge here is that she was not doing it to get a better step up or to get a better behavior. In this case, Michelle was doing it on accident because what she wanted was just more tricks for less money. If you picture your treats as $100 bills, would you do the same amount of work for 1/3 of the paycheck? And the answer is obvious. We wouldn't go to our job to get 30% of the pay. And I think we need to look at our birds that way. When we're training them to do behaviors, make sure you're being fair, make sure you're being honest, and that you're paying them what they expect to be paid.
Can you do a tunnel? I have a tunnel at home, but my hand's not quite the same. Well, let's come. Good boy. Let's come touch. Touch. Oh, good boys.
How's your handling of this bird?
I mean,
He's a lot won't go to her.
not as much. Yeah. I mean,
My
I'm
younger
just not
daughter
there.
loves her.
So
Okay.
I just don't. I'm not with him as much.
Okay. Can I have you put him back in the cage for a sec? And then I'll go through a couple things.
Here's the up. Nah.
He's like, Dave said cage.
He's still eating.
yeah.
So the face wiping is telling me too that he's probably almost full.
He does it all.
He didn't eat anything. Yes. Can you step up? Let's come.
And then the rest of the behavior I'm seeing is also validating my theory.
He didn't eat anything.
I trust you.
Yeah. Well, let's come. Step up. Look at my house.
Okay, we can just leave him there for a sec. But the challenge is that she's feeding a tablespoon of seasonal feeding system. Awesome job. But she's also giving a tablespoon of, I'll leave the brand out, but it has a lot of seeds in it. And the problem with that is that we're trying to pay the bird with seeds or pine nuts, but there's no value in that because the bird gets it for free in its breakfast. So we had all sorts of challenges right off the bat.
Yeah.
So first observation is every interaction is a training session. So what that means, you just leave, it's okay. So what that means is that anything we want to see more of, we want to make sure that we're intentional with it, right? And what I saw is you got to step up and you told him how great he was, and all he heard was like, as a Charlie Brown teacher, is like, wah, 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 wah. Right? And then you set him down, and then you ask for 2 more behaviors before you give a treat. So you had a step up, which I think you want to see more of, right? So what you can do is make sure that you're treating that as a trick, and you go ahead and reward it. And then when you set them down, it's okay to do some behaviors where you're getting, that would be what I would call an FR3. So you ask for 3 behaviors before you gave a treat, which can build frustration if it's not done with intention.
Michelle, leave him alone.
Or something.
Let him be.
So we want to just make sure that if we are doing FR3, it's done with a purpose to change a certain behavior. Otherwise, we want to just be like, with what I'm seeing and kind of what you're describing about how sometimes it gets bitey, I would make sure you're doing FR1, which is frequency of reinforcement 1. Usually we say 1 trick gets 1 click, gets 1 treat. And what we saw was 3 tricks per treat. So that could be contributing to some of that biting behavior that you're describing.
Okay.
Okay.
And I started doing that because he does the same tricks over and over, so I thought I'd clump them together and make him do a couple,
Yeah.
and then give them.
Yeah, and it's totally okay as long as you know how, on purpose, we're going to build a little frustration to enhance behavior. But if we're not using it on purpose, we just have to be aware that we're not building frustration on accident. And then, so when I talked about like the face wiping, he did it 1 rep before, and then he did it on the 2nd rep, and then he quit. So even though I know he hasn't had breakfast and he ate yesterday, all of that body language was saying, "Uh-oh, we're out of time," and then that's what's happening here, right? So when you guys see your bird's face wiping, you know that we'll probably push that session a little too long. Otherwise, the training looks really good. I think that a lot of the behaviors are great. For our 2nd session with Michelle, we actually wanted to have her daughter Kimberly be able to do some of the training with the bird. So to start out, we asked for her to take her bird out and pay the bird for a step up, but he was refusing to come out. So she targeted the bird out, which was great, but we should have known right then and there that we weren't set up for success. If the bird wasn't willing to come out of its cage that we had previously struggled to get it back into, then why would it step up on somebody that it doesn't necessarily want to step up on for a treat that it doesn't really need because it's full and it's getting similar type things in its daily diet for free, and then we have to struggle to try to get the bird back in.
Can you step up? It's going for that.
Right, okay, that's all right.
This is
Okay,
so he does this a lot at home.
Yeah.
Like, we'll try to get him to do something and he'll fly away from us.
We just got a face wipe too, right? So even though, you know, we hear this a lot, like, oh, he's gotta be starved, he hasn't had breakfast, he's not starved, or he would be doing a lot, he would be pushing harder, right?
Yeah. Okay, you wanna try?
Here.
I go. Step up. Step up.
Bring the treat slightly closer.
Oh, yeah. Step up.
Where'd he go?
He looks really good against that blue wall.
Just stay there so we get the shot.
Yeah, matches his head.
Yeah.
Color coordinated.
Oh no. Uh-oh.
He's starting to talk.
When we're not set up for success, then we run into other problems where we are accidentally reinforcing or accidentally punishing. And so this gave us a great example of where Willis landed on the back of a chair and went peekaboo and was very heightened. And then we all gave a positive reinforcement by laughing and interacting, which would encourage more of that really unwanted behavior. Although it sounds cute, heightened can often lead to biting. Talking also usually means a bird's heightened. So as soon as a bird started to talk, we knew that it was time to pull the plug because we were not set up for success. Yeah, so this is, even though we skipped breakfast, it just shows you their crop size is tiny.
Yeah.
And in a lot of this, when the diet's cleaned up, these treats will have a higher value. Even when they're a little bit more full, they'll still have a higher value and we'll be likely to get them put away.
Yeah.
So what are your takeaways?
Well, for me, thinking that I had this like great diet, you learn. So it's just to try that and see if it makes a difference. And maybe just slow down on my like training and not include so many behaviors at one time. Just as you mentioned, have intentional training. Think about it more before I start. Just work on my behaviors. With them.
This class gave us lots of opportunity to talk about how the training quadrant is really taking effect all the time, whether we mean to or not. One of the examples that she gave is that Willis flew to her grandson and was always pretty good until one day he bit the grandson. So I said, I bet that reaction was a positive reinforcement based on seeing how this bird interacted when we all reacted to the peekaboo that was super cute. Is the bird was encouraged to do more of that behavior. But I assumed wrong. In fact, her grandson barely made any reaction at all, according to her. So she went over, picked the bird up, didn't even put him back into his cage, and she described all this beautifully thought through stuff to make sure that she wasn't rewarding by putting him back in the cage where there's food and water. And so I asked her who the bird's favorite person is, and of course it's her. So we were able to highlight that what happened is this bird flew to the grandson, bit him to get the reinforcement of his favorite person coming and interacting. And when we painted the picture like that, she started to see how much more intention she needs to have whenever she's interacting with her bird. It's important for me to note here that although we're highlighting a lot of the things that went wrong, this is not what the interaction typically looks like at home, which makes it even more important that whenever we're going to interact with our birds, we want to make sure that we're set up for success.
Parrots are the third most popular pet in the entire world, yet the #1 most rehomed. If you're interested in joining our mission of saving parrots one person at a time, visit birdtricks.com to learn more about our parrot training courses, organic bird food, all-natural parrot toy line, and much, much more. When we know better, we do better. It's through you that we can help people offer only the best quality products to their parrots, along with the knowledge they need to live in harmony with their birds through permission-based training. Visit birdtricks.com today to learn more.